Good morning, YouTube. Today we're going to talk about shipping supercars.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan, and we are in my garage, and this channel is all about the supercar ownership experience, and I apologize, I'm on my cell phone. I didn't bring my GoPros home for the weekend, but I wanted to tell you this story while it's fresh in my mind. So, yeah, we ship a lot of cars all over the country, and most of the time it goes pretty uneventful. It's usually not a big deal. But every once in a while, we have some crazy stuff happen. And this week, we had 3 things happen that were crazy. And so I thought I'd tell you these 3 stories real quick because they're just, well, ridiculous. When you're shipping cars, it's kind of the Wild West out here. So we use 2 different brokers. We've had a lot of success with the companies that we're using. They generally don't ever harm the cars. There's a lot of complaints about, like, they don't necessarily call you, and their accuracy on when things are going to arrive is usually way off. Like, they'll say, oh, it's going to be here at 3, and it shows up at 7. Stupid things like that. And, of course, there's probably like a 90% chance that they don't speak English, or if they do speak English, they don't speak it very well, so there's always a language barrier. So Google Translate's your friend. To be clear, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I'm just saying it is what it is. Okay, so 3 stories this week. First one is, we had a guy who bought a 430 Spider, and it was his first Ferrari, and he was super excited about it, so we arranged shipping. The shipper shows up. It's kind of strange at first because he took forever to inspect the car, like literally a half an hour or so. And usually these guys, you know, like they're on a timeline. They want to get stuff done. They're just like click, 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 take pictures, sign, go. 5 minutes, boom, done. He's taking like literally a half hour, tons of pictures, walking around the car like 20 times. I don't know what's going on. So then he finally starts the car up and he starts trying to load it onto his truck. And we hear him like revving the piss out of it. It's a manual conversion car. And he's riding the clutch a bit and stuff. And so Josh runs out to the car and he's like, get out of the car, I'm gonna load it. I'm like, all right. This is how this one's gonna go, right? We wanted to protect the car. Even though technically at that point, like, he's the one liable because we've already, signed it over to him. Still, we don't want our customers' cars to get damaged and have them have to deal with this. So Josh loads the car very easily. I mean, we've done this hundreds of times, no big deal. In a weird twist of predicting the future, Josh, as he's getting out of the car, goes, now don't f it up when you're backing it out of there. Yeah, he's strapping down the cars and getting stuff ready, and he's about to go, and all of a sudden we hear someone saying, excuse me, I need help? And Josh goes out there and comes back into the office, because I'm sitting there doing like computer work, and he's like, we need the first aid kit. This dude is bleeding everywhere. I'm like, what the hell is going on? What? So I go out there. This dude has, like, I'm not even kidding, a 6 to 8 inch long gash almost to the bone on his leg, like on the front of his leg. And we're like, what in the world happened? So I think somehow he must have been like scraped it on the trailer, because the trailers are like sheet metal. There's some sharp edges. It probably just cut right through. So anyway, he's bleeding all over the place. And of course there's a language barrier. And I'm like trying to explain to him, like, dude, you need to go to an ER. Like, you need stitches. This thing is going to get infected and you're going to lose your leg. Like, you need to go now. And so, like, we take our little first aid kit and, like, put a bandage, like a huge bandage on it, and it immediately soaks the entire thing in blood. And then we're wrapping it up, and it's just like a complete disaster. Dude's sitting there, like, limping around, bleeding all over the place, bleeding all over, like, thankfully not in our shop, but, like, all over our driveway, all over the grass and everything. And we're just like, okay. So I'm thinking he's not going to go to the ER. So I take and I Google the nearest ER and on Google Maps, and I make him plug that address into his phone. And I'm like, you're going there. And so he's like, okay. So he, I think goes to get this, wound taken care of, which hopefully. So you think that's the end of the story, right? No. Oh, no. So a couple days goes by, and at like 7:30 in the morning, I get a call from the customer who bought the 430 saying, hey, the car is being unloaded right now. They didn't call me or anything, of course. And it's about to hit the wire for the tailgate on the trailer. And I'm thinking, well, like sometimes they get pretty close and stuff. That's not necessarily a big deal. And he's like, no, like, let me send you a picture. I'm like, okay, so send me a picture. And he sends me the picture, and I'll put that up on the screen right now. And I was like, oh my God, like this thing's about to fall off the trailer. It's about to hit the wall. How in the hell did it get this messed up? Like, what are you doing? Why'd you turn the steering wheel? Just go straight. It's really easy. Go straight. That's all you have to do when you're backing these cars out of the trailer. Okay, so I'm telling him, make sure the wheels are chalked. He already did that. Okay, great. And somehow there was two of them now. There's two guys. There was only one guy when they picked it up. Now there's two guys. And that made me even more confused. I'm like, how did two guys screw this up? Like, didn't one guy watch to make sure it wasn't going to do something like this? I guess not. I explained to him, hey, pop the trunk, open up the toolkit. There's a tow hook. Get the tow hook, put the tow hook in the front of the car. Here's where you do that. Now you're gonna take one of your ratchet straps and you're gonna ratchet this car back in slowly, because like sitting there thinking to myself, this guy doesn't know how to drive a manual transmission for crap. I'm not gonna have him screw this up. So they do that. Of course, it takes like a half hour because you gotta like ratchet a couple times, undo it, redo it, undo it, redo it, and so on and so on. Finally, they get the car unloaded, and thankfully, our customer had a good sense of humor because, he didn't freak out too much or anything.
I think you're good.
But that was awful. So we called our broker and we're immediately like, you're never sending this guy to any of our cars again. This guy shouldn't be transporting Ferraris and six-figure cars, probably not even Toyotas. So yeah, this guy's a liability. You need to find someone else. So that's story number one. Story number two is not so bad. It's actually more entertaining and funny. So we had a Corvette C6 being delivered. And as typical, they, said, oh, I'll be there at some time, and it came much, much later. So anyway, Josh was staying at the shop late to make sure this car gets unloaded. Car arrives, it's on a trailer. The transporter jumps in the car and tries to start it, and the battery's dead, which they had picked up the car only like 5-6 hours earlier because it was only coming from Dallas. So I'm thinking, how the hell did the battery die? Like, how did you get it loaded and the battery died that quick? Something... Like, did they leave the lights on or something? Probably. If you don't know, on the Corvette C6, it has electronic door releases. So you push a button and it's electronic. Well, the battery was so dead, the dude couldn't open the door. So the transporter is actually stuck inside of the Corvette, inside of a trailer. And so Josh is just like, oh my God. So, there's a secondary release, and Josh is trying to explain to it, again, dude doesn't speak English, so he's trying to explain where this thing is. Dude's not getting it. So Josh takes and Googles a YouTube video of how to do the secondary release on the C6 and holds his cell phone up to the window of the car so the guy watches the video and figures out how to get the thing released. Of course, then the battery's dead and it's stuck in the trailer, so they end up having like push it out and all this stuff, and just such a pain in the ass. This is, again, the joys of shipping cars. All right, so the last story happened yesterday. So we had 2 more cars coming from Dallas, and the transporter, again, doesn't really let us know when they're showing up. They were supposed to show up 2 nights ago. They were supposed to show up on Friday night. They didn't show up till Saturday morning. I was going to the shop anyway Saturday morning, so it wasn't a big deal. So I'm on my way to the shop, and Josh calls me and said, hey, the transporter called. They're at the shop already. I'm like, great. Well, I'm on my way. So I get there, and first the guy's in the middle of the road, and he's like sitting on the ground trying to rewire his lights on his trailer. Okay, sure. Thankfully, like, again, we live kind of on a road that doesn't have a whole lot of traffic, although we live next to that temple. And the temple actually is pretty busy on Saturdays. So there is a lot of traffic trying to get to the temple, and his trailer's in the way. So like these, patrons of the temple are like having to cut through. And anyway, it was stupid. Like, why did he just pull forward like 6 feet? Whatever. So he's rewiring the light, and I'm like, okay, like, great. Guy doesn't speak English. I was like, okay, let me know if you need anything. Feel free to back up into our driveway. So he then comes and finds me a few minutes later, and he's got Google Translate up, which, okay, good. And it says that he forgot the keys to the cars at his house. Okay. And he says he's going to drop off the trailer and go get the keys. And I'm thinking, okay, where is your house? Like, is this 5 hours away? What? Turns out the dude lives in Austin, so it's not that far away. It's still probably like over an hour away. But he wants to drop off his trailer, go drive home, go get the keys to the cars, and then come back. Okay, sure, fine. Let's do that. So then he tries to like back up the trailer into the driveway, which you'd think if driving trucks with trailers is your job, you'd be decent enough at backing up, but no, he isn't getting this thing in there. So finally, after like 3-4 tries, I'm like, look, just back up past our driveway, turn down this other road, then you can back up straight and turn, whatever. He finally figures out what I'm saying, does what I'm saying. He's able to back the trailer up into our driveway. And then I'm trying to explain to him to park the trailer way back here because we have people coming to the shop, and he parks it like right in the middle of the driveway so that no one can get by. I'm like, okay, whatever. At this point, I don't care. They can drive through my yard. He unhooks the trailer, goes, gets the keys, which takes him a good, 3 hours, comes back, hooks back up the trailer, unloads the cars, and we have the keys and everything. Everything's fine. And I will give him credit. Like, he was very, very, very careful unloading the cars, made sure nothing scraped. A lot of times the cars that are very low, they scrape when they're coming out of these things. Did a good job on that. So otherwise, no complaints. I actually kind of empathize with that one. Like, you get up early on a Saturday morning, you got to do some work, and you forgot something. It just sucks that that's what you forgot. So anyway, you'd think if your job was to transport cars, you'd probably want to remember the keys to cars that you're transporting. Maybe. Hope you like these stories. Please support us. You can do so by going to normalguysupercar.com. There you can buy parts and services, and of course, NG Supercars. There you can buy cars from us. Some of these cars that just got transported. When you buy cars from us, if you need help arranging transportation, we can set that up. But just take it all with a grain of salt. We have yet to find a transport company that we like. That's always good. It just doesn't happen. So anyway, we'll see you guys later. We'll be doing a lot of cool car stuff. If you want to stay tuned, it's gonna be sweet.